Welcome back to the Robot Brains podcast on the DL, where we take a step away from AI and learn more about our latest guest with 10 quick personal questions. All right, let's dive in. If you could have a robot take over any part of your life, what would you have it do?
Mop my floors. And actually, I do have a robot to mop my floors, but I wish I had a better robot to mop my floors.
Who has inspired you the most in your career journey?
I have so many inspirations to draw on. I mentioned some of them already, so I will mention someone else who I often just go back to looking. And she is Africa's first Nobel laureate, African black woman to win the Nobel Prize. Her name is Wangari Maathai. And I have many, many books of the life of Wangari Maathai behind me to go and read about the kind of way that she understood of living in the world that we are in and the role of politics and activism and science and environmentalism all coming together and being an important part. And I just think Wangari Maathai's life and the kind of way she strove for integrity, rigor in her science, and also to make the world a better place is just is one person I always go back to think about and draw so much inspiration from.
If you could give robots and machines one human value, what would it be?
Care for others. I don't know how it would actually operationalize or deepen the idea of care, but I think care is so important because it's something that we think about even across this call. I feel there is a kind of care between us.
Outside of the world of tech, what excites you most about the current state of the world?
One of the things that's always amazing when you host an event like the Deep Learning in Dava is that you're always confronted and surrounded with the latest thinking from young people. And young people always are the most inspiring. Those people who are just in their undergraduate degrees or just the beginning of a PhD, and the kind of questions, there's an optimism and there's actually a kind of very high degree of awareness that's there about sort of where the challenges are. And then there's also an amazing resilience and adaptability that I have seen in people that, is also just inspiring. So I think that kind of change that I see amongst this cohort of people every year that we have in Dava events just it makes me very optimistic for the way the world will evolve.
If you had to give up work and volunteer for the rest of your life, what would you do and why?
I would love to do some kind of volunteer work in local government. I think local governments have so much important influence in our daily lives and just understanding the local needs, the kind of politics of the environment that we are in, and they do so much work. So yeah, maybe there's some kind of support that I could do in that kind of space.
What's the last book you read?
The last book I read is a collection of poetry. It's called Devotions by Mary Oliver. And I love the poetry of Mary Oliver. And if you ever want to find some poetry about the natural world, but it also has this kind of spiritual element to it, especially coronavirus, lockdown, pandemic situation, poetry has been a very great way of me getting through this. So that was the last book I read. I recommend everyone get it. You will definitely find yourself a Mary Oliver poem you will fall in love with. The one I would say to everyone to read, go and Google it right now, is called At Blackwater Pond.
Best present you've ever received?
I love playing Xbox with these kind of games where you have to manage an economy, a park or something. So for several years, I keep getting these games. Tropico is one I really love, but the most latest one is called Jurassic Park Evolution 2. It's the best thing ever.
Dinner with one person, living or deceased?
I have to just give you the cliched answer, because every South African wishes they could have met in the flesh Nelson Mandela. So yeah, we'd have just loved to, because I'm only here today because so many people, especially him and that kind of vision and, made it possible that racial segregation in this world could be removed, could be fought against. And just through that action, I get to speak to you today. So yeah, could have loved to do that.
Most overrated virtue?
I don't know. I don't think virtues are overrated, actually. I think we should rate them a little bit more and think about the virtues in this world and what are the kind of virtues we want to have.
What's something that many people don't know about you?
I think I revealed several of them. That I love playing Xbox theme park games, that I love reading poetry. Maybe that, I would have loved to do a degree in history. So you see, I actually do try and make some part of my research has a kind of historical element. So it fills up that kind of longing that I've wanted to have.